Let's talk about specifically number 9, insurance and liability gaps. Denial of coverage due to improper documentation. The way you prevent this is, of course, to make sure up front when you're working with subcontractors and vendors and getting their insurance that you have all the proper documentation. And you're going to want to have your admin folks, or if it's just you, you're going to have to call and verify the insurances for your subcontractors and vendors. They're going to send you over documents, and it is not unheard of in this industry for people to forge documents. So you are going to have to do the legwork. When you get an insurance certificate, you're going to want to call and verify the insurance and make sure you're getting all the right documentation up front. And what does that look like? For us, we get general liability and we get workers' comp from our subcontractors. And on each one of the policies, we make sure that they list us as additional named insured on the policy, and that's our company name. So that would be Southeastern General Contracting, Inc. And we make sure all of our subcontractors let their insurance company know to include that, and we want their insurance company's information. But typically what happens is the insured, the subcontractor or vendor, will contact their insurance company, give them our information, and then they will send us insurance certificates. We want to make sure and ask also, how are they paying for their insurance? Are they paying monthly? They're paying bi-monthly? Or they're paying every 6 months? Or they're paying once a year? Now, you want to try to always work with people that has their insurance paid up for a year, because that's less admin work. In the event they're paying monthly, guess what that means? That means that any month they could drop off paying their insurance policies. And some subcontractors, what they'll do, they'll get your certificate and they'll pay the first month or two premium, knowing that your contract or their contract with you may be several months. And if you and your team don't follow up to make sure that insurance coverages are current when you're paying out checks, when you get audited by workers' comp or general liability and you're not able to show insurance certificates for those dates that you've paid them, you're going to have to pay some penalties, and it can add up really quickly. Here's the solution to make sure that never happens. First off, you want to tell the insurance company, because you are also named additional insured, they're supposed to contact you via phone or email, letting you know if that policy drops off. The backup plan to that's plan A. Plan B would be to have your administration people, your admin team, or your accountants, whenever we're cutting checks or writing checks to the subcontractors. It is an extra step, but for us, we write about 10 checks a week or 15 checks, sometimes more, sometimes less. We will have to go the step of making sure we call and verify that the insurance is good. And sometimes we find out that it's not. That gives us time to reach out to that subcontractor and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Subcontractor, you're expecting a check. However, we can't issue a check because your contract that we signed with you, that we went over with you and read to you, states that in order for us to give you a check, you have to have active insurance policies that are active on the dates that we're paying you. And we just verified with your insurance company that your insurance is lapsed or it's defaulted due to non-payment or what have you. How soon can you correct that? Because we can't write you a check until you get that corrected. Now that's a plan A and a plan B. And normally plan B does the trick, but you have to become disciplined and let your accounts payable team know, incorporate that into your weekly payment cycles. So that should help cover the denial of coverage due to improper documentation, but mainly this really helps you out for the next one that says uninsured subcontractors causing accidents or defects. So anytime they're on your job site, you're going to want to make sure that they're insured. And I just gave you plan A and plan B of how to make sure that they're always insured while on your job site. The next up is gaps between builder's risk, general liability, and subcontractors policies. The same thing, I just gave you the key on how to make sure that doesn't happen, so you eliminate the gaps in between having folks who are insured and uninsured on your job site. Next up is inadequate coverage for acts of God, earthquakes, flood, and other exclusion. So anytime you're getting those insurance, you're going to want to read what the exclusions are in any policy that you have, no matter if it's your policies with builder's risk or your general liability or your workers' comp. Now here's one of the things that we do for our insurance and for our subcontractors. We can simply ask our insurance agent, hey, email me a list of all the exclusions. What are the gotcha clauses? Now, can you always trust them to give you the 100% honest answer? I would like to think so. But if you're in business, you've learned by now that you never trust anybody to that extent. So if you're like us, what do? You use technology. We happen to be living in a time where it's super easy. You get the PDF of the policy. You tell them not to just send you the certificates. You want the actual policy. Then you take that PDF and upload it into our handy dandy custom SEGC GPT, and you tell it you want it to study that insurance policy and give you a list of all the gotcha clauses, the exclusions for your subcontractors, for your vendors, and even for your own insurance. So that way you can catch any potential issues that will arise later on, and otherwise get that exclusion taken out and get it added into your policy. And what does this look like? Imagine you're a GC and you're working with a subcontractor who's a stucco installation contractor. Now, they've given you their general liability and their workers' comp, right? And you got additional name insured, you did all that, you think you're good to go, right? And they're paying their premiums like they're supposed to. No issues with that. 3 years after doing a job, or a year after doing a job or whatnot, you get a phone call for this particular homeowner or this client stating that, or an attorney stating that you're going to have to go to court because there's some damage to the structure due to the stucco installation. You're going to want to go find out which subcontractor that is, ABC Stucco, and then you're going to check your files and be relieved that you have the general liability and the workers' comp in the time period in which it happened, and they had their coverage throughout the entire cycle. So you think you're good, right? What a relief. Only to find out later on when you dig a little bit deeper, and your attorney has to send the insurance certificates and the policies to the opposing counsel, and they dig into it and rip it apart. And then come to find out, guess what the exclusions are in your subcontractor's policy, your stucco subcontractor's policy. Take a guess at what is excluded as part of the exclusions in the stucco subcontractors. The exclusion is they've excluded stucco work. Your stucco subcontractor gave you their insurance, but in the fine print and exclusion, it specifically states that the insurance company doesn't insure the insured, which is the stucco subcontractor, for stucco applications. Now, of course, the stucco contractor probably wasn't even aware of that. You weren't aware of that. You did literally everything that you typically would know to do to prevent that from happening, and now you have the knowledge to have learned a $150,000 mistake. Now you know how to go about preventing that in your business. These are just some of the things that we're going to cover, not just in this video, but in each section of this risk category, where we're going to tell you all the different risks that we face, that we know about from start to finish, so you will get educated more. You'll learn valuable lessons, so you don't have to do like some of the rest of us and learn these things the hard way. And any one of these lessons can literally be the difference between your business surviving or failing, or you taking a lawsuit worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, or winning handily by having this insider information. If you find this type of information insightful, if you can see the value in it, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share it with any and all of your contractor friends, because this literally can be the channel that can help save them from going out of business or facing lawsuits that can put them in a really bad situation.